This video is going to show you how to take a Stratocaster apart. Maybe you just want to change your pick guard. For my purposes, I am completely stripping this guitar down, and I'm going to be actually stripping off all of the lacquer paint and sanding this down to bare wood, and I am completely remaking this guitar into something that's hopefully going to be really awesome. The neck has already been removed. It's just 4 bolts if it's a bolt-on style neck, and the neck comes right off. So first thing, I'm removing now the back tremolo plate. 6 screws, plastic plate comes off, voila. That exposes your springs for your tremolo system if you have one. So something I like to do, since I have a lot of screws and parts here, I like to keep everything organized and together. So I'll bunch them all together, put a piece of paper tape on them, so that when I go to reassemble this or sell off these parts, I know what goes with what. Drop it in the bag, keep everything in a bag together, and there we go. All right, nice springs. Something else I do is take reference photos. So again, when I reassemble this instrument, I got some reference of the way it went together. Alright, front side, pretty much 11 screws is going to release the pick guard. I've already taken most of them out already. So here's and the pick guard screws go in the bag. Alright, now the pick guard won't come off because it's wired together. So we're going to have to remove a few wires here. But first, we're going to have to remove the 1/4-inch jack bolt, 2 screws, and the little 1/4-inch jack is going to pop right out. And that's held in there with 2 wires attached underneath to the pick guard. So even if you were changing your pick guard, you're going to have to remove these. So I'm taping the screws on there so I don't lose them, and taking some reference photos so I know what the wiring looks like when I want to put it back together. Soldering iron, nothing special, just a standard soldering iron. Obviously you could just cut the wires if you wanted to, but if you don't have a soldering iron, but you just need to heat up those connections enough to melt the solder so that you can kind of wiggle those wires out. So you got 2 wires going to the 1/4-inch jack, heat them up, remelt that solder, and they'll come right off. All right, and into the bag it goes to be either reused or resold. All right, so ground wire gets attached to the tremolo spring claw, and just heat that up enough, came right off. All right, now flip it back over, and your pick guard should come right out. Thread those wires out, and there you go. That's what the bottom of your pick guard looks like. So that might be helpful, hopefully. All right, so now let's remove the tremolo springs, should you have one. There are 2 adjustment bolts that hold that little claw in, and all you got to do is keep loosening them, and eventually the springs will just become loose and the whole thing is just going to fall apart. So they're pretty big screws, and these are really far in there. If you don't know, these screws are used to adjust the kind of the placement or tension of your tremolo bridge block. So if your tremolo bridge is out of place because of the gauge of your strings, you can make your adjustments here. And so just keep loosening and loosening, and that the tension will be released, and it'll just come right off the springs. All right. tape those on. And into the bag. There you go. All right, springs, just kind of wiggle them out. Wiggle, wiggle. What's going on here? And into the bag they go. That's it for there. Looking pretty clean. All right, front side. Got to remove the bridge. And I'm going to get my power drill for this, just to make it go quicker. And you got 6 screws across the front, and all you're doing is screwing them out of the wooded guitar. And we're almost there. 3, 2, and 1, and that's all it takes. All right, bridge out. And I'm going to put all those screws back into place, put some paper tape back on top so that all stays together. There you go, there's your bridge. And the tremolo block. And into the bag it goes. Alright, that's everything. So I hope that was helpful. That doesn't fit in there. And hope that was helpful. Keep everything neat and organized. Remember how you took it apart so you can put it back together. You know, if you've never seen the bottom of your pick guard, that's what it looks like. I'm not a single coil guy. I'm going to replace this guitar with some sweet dual humbuckers and redo all the wiring myself. So look forward to a video on that. You can buy these pick guards preloaded with all the stuff in there and all the wiring done too, I've seen out there. So good luck with that. All right, on to the next part. So this here is just a $10 heat gun from Harbor Freight. I had a coupon, got this for 10 bucks. And I'm gonna weight down the guitar body. And because it likes to move once you got pressure on it. You could use clamp, you could clamp it down if you wanted to. And I'm actually using this is a gasket scraper. This green handled instrument is an automotive gasket scraper, which is, it's working. That was the only thing I had at the moment that was working. You need something with a nice sharp beveled edge to scrape it, right? So I actually went out and bought a better paint scraper in the next video, but this was just working. See, that spackle knife is not working. You need something with kind of a beveled edge just to scrape, because you're literally warming up the lacquer and, you know, scraping it off, so to say. So, all right, so back to this. Comes off really easy. I just wanted to see if I could do this before I went and ordered all of my paint supplies to redo the lacquer finish on here. And it worked pretty well. Some heat to warm it up, and it comes right off. You know, you just got to get started a little bit. And there's actually like 2 layers you're removing here. The top layer is your color, your clear coated color, right? And heat it up and scrape it, and it comes right off. What you might be seeing underneath here is like a white layer, and that's your primer layer underneath. And then, so I'm scraping the color off to expose that primer, and then I'm going to use a power sander to sand that primer down and smooth out the wood and get it down to bare wood. So this process really works well. It does create quite a bit of particles and trash. So I kept the shop vac nearby to try to keep my workplace clean as I'm working, but this worked really well. It looks like you're scratching the surface, but it's really just, I'm just scratching up that primer layer. You got to use a little bit of pressure. Obviously, you don't want to dig in so deep you're going to mar the wood, but at this stage you can easily fill in those imperfections. So some parts were harder to get at than others. You just got to find kind of the right angle to work at, get it going. Sometimes you'll just kind of scrape off little bits. Other times you're going to get some nice big scrapes, nice big satisfying scrapes, right, like we're doing here. Edges shave off real easy, so that might be a good place to start and get your edges going. They scrape off real easy, but be careful not to ruin your edges by doing that. Getting around these curves is going to be really challenging. I'm going to have a subsequent video where I finish all the edges and completely strip all the black lacquer paint off this guitar and sand it down to bare wood. Remember the black lacquer phase from the 80s that your parents probably had in their home? All the dining room black lacquer, 1980s dining room furniture. That's what we're getting rid of here. And we're going to put a sweet looking new color on this boring black and white guitar. I mean, how many black and white Stratocasters do we need in this world, right? This is just a cheap Amazon purchase Strat style. It's like a no-name brand, but the body's good, right? The body's good, and actually, as I take it apart and actually see the insides, this is a really cheaply made guitar, but once it's covered up, it's going to be fine. So it's this video is sped up, about twice the speed, but just take your time. Put on some music, take your time, and have some fun stripping your guitar color away. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love black. Majority of my wardrobe is black. I love black guitars, but a black Strat with a white pickguard, like we've seen enough of those, and I'm not interested in playing a guitar like that anyway. So I'm gonna put an awesome color coat on here. If you look at my other video, I show you the new neck that I'm gonna put on here. Put humbuckers in, get rid of those single coils, because I like to play heavy metal and rock and roll and distortion, and I don't get that love from single humbuckers. This is going to be a fun project. All right, so scraping away. I can't believe really how well this is working. Do go get yourself a better, proper scraping tool. This gasket scraper was working, but probably not the right thing to use. I'm sure there's going to be people are going to give me shit in the comments for using an automotive gasket scraper to scrape lacquer, but look, it's working. It's fine, right? Yeah, here we go. All right, look at that. This is a really thin coat of paint, but it just strips right off. It gets really hot too. Be careful. I was touching that wood a lot, and that heat got really. Be careful. The end of your scraper gets hot. That wood and the lacquer gets really hot. So be careful touching that stuff. But I think I get some good long scrapes right here. But it just peels right off. It peels. Oh, look at that. These long ones are just so satisfying, right? Just keep applying the heat, and it's coming off. I've heard you can sand the lacquer off. You can use chemical strippers and paint strippers to remove the lacquer. Acetone, I saw someone use. but this just seems to be, you know, there's no chemicals, and the mess is easy to clean up with shop vac. It does make an awful mess though. There's just shavings everywhere. I stopped kind of periodically to clean off the floor and the workbench, but pretty excited to keep working on this baby. And I'm just kind of like testing out the sanding. Take a look at that primer coat to see what I'm going to have to do with that. I eventually did take a power sander to the guitar, and that's what's going to remove that primer coat without gouging the wood. So, I mean, I'm about halfway done the front. I guess let's flip it over to the back. Alright, so you just gotta get a part started. Just get it started, and with a little bit of pressure, make sure you get the right angle, and you're just heating and scraping. Heating and scraping. Maybe smoke a little weed, get in the zone, put on some music, and just chill out in your garage or your workshop, stripping paint. You know, chemical free. Look at this. Oh, those long ones are so satisfying when you get them. Look at that. So, that's it. Coming up, I got part 2 coming where I'm going to finish stripping with a proper scraper. We'll see how that goes. And I'm going to be sanding this guitar down to bare wood, getting it all nice and smooth, and prepping it for its new coat of primer, and then soon to be new coat of color. I'm going to redo this guitar in the same professional nitrocellulose lacquer finish. So hopefully I'll have some more videos on that entire process. And it's really fun, really exciting. So thanks for watching. Keep on rocking, and stay tuned for part 2.